Hello there. Oh, wait, hold up a second. What is up, my guys, gals, and non-conforming pals? Starbound, the game that was set to kill Terraria in its early stage, but replaced Terraria with itself. It did not be good. Starbound is a game that is very unbalanced when it comes to its weapons. Unlike Terraria, where there are over 500 weapons, and each one is carefully fine-tuned and crafted for progression at a perfect scale, Starbound, on the other hand, has only 90 unique weapons. So, that asks the question, if Starbound only has 90 fully coded weapons, then what about the rest? Well, that's because every other weapon in the game is randomly generated. Now, with a system like that, it leaves the weapon pool to be very lopsided, meaning that some weapons are just better than others, and the rest are just absolute garbage. One of the weapon types that gets a special corner in the bin are bows. Bows in Starbound are trash. Not only do they have a slow fire rate, but they rely on a charging mechanic to do good damage. They also have an arc to them, unlike most projectile weapons, but to do one shot, it costs 30 energy, which is a third of your energy bar in the beginning, and for a price like that, they're just obsolete. Oh yeah, and also, so, instead of throwing the bow into the bin with all the other useless tools and items, I decided, what if I turn this into a challenge and beat the final boss of Starbound with the 12, 10, 7 bows that aren't removed or disabled from the game? Well, here's my journey of how I beat Starbound bows only. Now, as I'm creating my character, let me get into the rules of the challenge. And by rules, I mean just pretty much I am only allowed to attack enemies and bosses with the 7 available types that I'm able to craft, find, and that's pretty much it. That means no swords, spears, guns, all that, they're in the bin now. And number 2, I am using mods, but they are for aesthetic purposes only. They don't really change that much challenge-wise. The only mods I would say that would be kind of cheating would be instant crafting and crew customization plus. So sorry, but this entire playthrough is not fully clean. Although for crew plus, nothing too major changes, and I'll get into that later in the video. Now, with that being said, my character is complete. I decided to choose Florian, and her name is Mushy. So after starting the game, I load into the intro cutscene, and...
God, that's loud.
After that mistake, I restart, and now I have the proper intro. This introduction is pretty much just the basic tutorial on the game, and also the basic lore intro of it all. So after waking up and walking around the school, I make it to our graduation ceremony when suddenly... So, after I acquire the matter manipulator and sneak through some vents, grab a cape, and break some blots, I acquire a weapon, which I, of course, cannot use, and an immovable wall. Wait, what? So, after remaking my explorer, I skip the intro cutscene, and now I find myself asleep in my spaceship. After getting up from a coma and no longer hearing the screams of my dead classmates who, unfortunately, didn't survive the Great Purge, I turn on my supercomputer, Sail, and they tell me to explore the planet below, and I agree. And now we can start the first chapter of the journey. Now, after landing, there are 3 things that I had in mind. 1, I need to find a weapon and craft one immediately, so I don't get my ass brutally murdered. 2, find the ancient gateway. And 3, find the mines to activate the ancient gateway so I can progress through the game. After trying to wait out the night from any means necessary, I try to explore in some sense, and thankfully Sail pointed me in the nearest direction to the gateway. So after running in the dead of night, climbing a mountain, and getting saved by a Scottish llama man, and after waiting out the night, I climbed down the mountain and look at that. So after climbing another mountain, I decided to have a thought of, I collected a lot of materials. First build can't be that hard to craft. And so after crafting a forging table and getting everything I need, I now had the first weapon of the challenge, the hunting bow. With a base stat of 8.1 and a cost of 30 energy, finally I can kill my foes. Except there's one little issue.
Shit.
Alright, I think it's time I should get into how bows work in Starbound, and also the basic combat of the game. The first part I should talk about is energy. And I think the best way to explain Starbound's way of combat, I shall use a comparison. What comparison, you may ask? It's Terraria. See, looking at the top left corner of the screen, you can see my icon and two other bars. The red bar is my health, which would make a lot of sense, but the other bar below it is my energy bar. And what does energy do? Well, pretty much everything. See, unlike Terraria, where bows and guns require their respective ammo types of arrows and bullets, Starbound has taken a different route, where guns, bows, and weapon abilities all use up the energy bar. So every time we make a player, we start with 100 energy, which you might think is a lot, but when you look at how much energy the bows use, it can become a problem real fast. Speaking of bows, I think it's time I talk about the stats of our first bow. The hunting bow, crafted with 1 copper bar, 1 string, and 20 timber, we got ourselves the first bow out of the 4 craftable ones. Now, damage-wise, it has a base stat of 8.1. Why not just an even 8? I have no fucking clue. But we can change this value because the hunting bow does the charge-up motion, and depending on how much we charge, it can either do 1 with a quick charge or 9 with a perfect charge. Now, as for the range, we either get a sad, pathetic loser or soaring to Pluto. Now, energy is a very big problem, but how do we fix that? Well, I'll get into that in the future, but do not worry. So now that we got that all out the way, back to the gameplay. How we doing? After bunkering down the heal up, I climb over the mountain and... So, after claiming this camp land and building my lovely home, I decided to trek into the cave to murder a mother, and little did I know I would find my greatest enemy in this whole game. Bats. Bats are flying enemies are a major problem because with my aim looking like that, I would start to think that these things had instant transmission, but hey, I'll get better in the future. So I find the mother Pop-Top, trap her, and give her a slow, painful death as I cover her in arrows. I collect my loot and acquire the rest of the core fragments to activate the gate. And so I make myself some iron armor, grab all my belongings, and get ready and welcome folks to the Outpost. Now, the best way I can describe the Outpost would be CVS in space, plus with an ancient temple with cryptic history to destroy an old god in the back. So CVS. Moving past everyone and entering the ancient temple, I find the person that was sending that voice transmission. It's none other than Esther Bright. Well, get back to that. Right now, she tells us a bunch of unimportant story stuff and tells us our ship looks like shit and we have to repair it. So, heading back to the main outpost, we talk to Penguin Pete, the shipwright of the place, to get a mission to a moon base where we can fight the first boss. So, I decided to prep a little more by getting the dash and double jump upgrades, and now I prep my bow and get ready.
Alright, mission 1.
Welcome folks to the Urkus mining facility, the first dungeon of the game. Now, not really much to say before the boss. The hunting bow does good damage to the mutants. Really? That was the best I got? Anyway, we do at least a quarter of the mutants' health, so things were alright. It started getting really tough when I had to fight the armored mutants. My damage was so low, I said screw it and let the NPCs fight. Tag team it, you know? Oh, hey, checkpoint. After getting jumped by another armored mutant and cheesing his AI, I get myself ready and fight the first boss, the Urkus Horror. God, this fight was easy. So, Urkus Horror is a unique boss in the fact that it is the only boss that doesn't take damage from any weapons. So, how do we damage it? Well, there are 4 levers spread out throughout the entire arena, and pulling them charges a laser gun, and charging all 4 makes us deal a third of its health, and its only attack method is shooting slow laser beams. And with that defeat, I turn on the machine, and the mission is finished. I repair my ship, get a gift from Esther. She gives me a flamethrower. Yay. Now, with my ship fixed, what can I do now? Everything. I can explore the entire universe and upgrade as much as I want. So, I sit my fine buttocks on my captain's seat and start exploring a planet to find tungsten to upgrade my gear. I found a Nova Kid village, and a gay couple, and a girl who really wanted me. Yes, these are important for the script. I decided to get some fuel and explore another planet, in which I found a Florian village, which is important because... Okay, I've been holding off long enough. Let me just rewind a little when I first talked to Esther. And let me give you a quick story rundown of what is going on and why I'm doing this. So, pretty much, the Ruin is a giant squid planet that goes around destroying other planets, and long ago, the Cultivator, aka the Guardian of Space, said, hey, stop that, and put the Ruin in the timeout box. Then it gave 6 races an important artifact if they ever need to fight the Ruin again. Reason I said 6 is because Nova Kids were a Kickstarter prize, and so they don't get any lore, unfortunately. So anyway, our job now is to go around planet to planet, scanning certain furnitures to fill up a progress bar to get a race mission, and then once we beat that boss, do it all again! I'm not gonna sugarcoat it, this part of the game sucks, but hey, right now I found all the Florian objects so we can prep for the next fight. From my explorations, I found an Apex City, a glitch dungeon, and a Florian dungeon, so you know what? I said fuck it, and just went to the mission with only the hunting bow. How fitting for this event. What event? Well, murder, dummy! Welcome to the Grand Florian Hunt. Pretty much, I'm locked in a room with a bunch of cannibals. How fun. Thankfully, I have one ally who doesn't want to eat me, and that is Nuru, a young sassy girl who either goes big or goes home. I'm gonna be honest, there's not much to really say about the dungeon itself. There's so many times where I got jumped and almost died, but just shimmied right through them. Although, check out this big brain move I pulled. But it's time for Boss 2, baby! Ixo Doom. This is the first actual fight where we can shoot the boss with the bow, and we do... 1 damage. Great. Well, thanks to Noro, she can help break Ixo's shell faster, and once it is broken, we can deal double the damage on it, dealing 14. So, sounds easy, yeah? Not so much. See, Ixo Doom has an attack that can summon little minions called Ixolins, and these things suck. Look at their stats, they have 15 HP and do 10 damage, so they're pretty squishy. Doesn't sound too bad, yeah? Just one problem. They spawn in packs. Another problem that arises with these little shits is that whenever I get done killing one pack, I'm all out of energy and have to wait for it to recharge, and while it's recharging, Ixo Doom summons a whole new batch of minions. So yeah, I got jumped, and guess how many times they killed me? Not once, but twice. So the plan I had was simple. I called it NDATW, or better known as Neuro Does All the Work. And with this plan in action, I kill all the Ixolings and Neuro takes down the boss for me. I secure the victory, getting the fluorine artifact and a free Muru. So, after that battle, Astra tells me to find high-level things to scan, and gonna be real, nothing too important to note. I upgraded my armor, and now acquired the tungsten hunting bow, which jumped my power from 8.1 to 12.2. Again, why not just round it to 12? But yeah, after playing some jams under the ocean, I find some high-level ruins, and that gives me enough research points to head to my next stop, the Great Pagoda Library. But before I head on over, I grabbed myself a compound bow, which does a nice, juicy 20.3 damage. Also, I guess rip tungsten bow, you were only made 61 words ago. Oof. The Halotl, the water race, has a dungeon that's a library flooded underwater. And since they're the water race, you think the boss would be a sea creature. Yeah? Who the hell are you?
The fuck are you?
That's kind of rude.
I'm gonna kill you now.
Okay. Welcome to Boss 3, Astronaut. Are you kidding me? Anyway, Astra actually has a pretty cool fight where we have to survive her onslaught of attacks and wait for her shield to go down, and then we can shoot her. So, as long as I stay on my toes, everything will be alright. Anyway, after that cocky interlude, I finally take down Astra, and she tells me that humans are the best race or something. I don't know. I barely didn't pay attention. She's a space racist. Why should I care about her? I save Koichi, and Esther tells me to scan avian artifacts, so I go out, find a good chunk, but I almost die, and I decide to leave and check another planet that had a Nova Kid village. And with this, I got a quest, a hit on a Florian. Now, I didn't think too much of it, just go in and kill my target, easy, yeah? Well, unbeknownst to me, I would gain a trusted ally. Welcome, Zekim, to the crew. Now, I didn't know what the rule would be on crewmates, because I didn't think I would have any this whole run, but I thought of the fact that I had Crew Customization Plus on, and I could swap out their main weapons, so I just decided that I can have bodyguards as long as I switch their weapons to also have bows. Alright, that aside, I had the thought of upgrading my armor, which is very important, and here's why. In Starbound, there are 3 types of armor upgrades that affect 3 different stats: health, energy, and damage. Health is pretty much useless to focus on since I got dodging skills, so it was between energy and damage. I chose energy. I want to shoot more arrows, and plus with more energy I can get faster recharge, so yeah, I decided to grind Age Assault, but not only that, I can craft something special later on. Next on my hit list are the Avians, and here we drop in front of a temple museum, hosting a dead god of some kind. My tour guide, Tuanak, tells me not to go any deeper in the temple because apparently it's too dangerous. I paid $200 for this tour. I get to do whatever I want. What kind of museum is this? After narrowly getting my cheeks burned off in solving the world's simplest puzzle for a hat, I made it to the boss door of Kluk's avatar. Now, Kluk's starting off has 3 attacks: red for tracking orbs, blue for an ice spike, and orange for lava. Freeze the kill. What am I doing? Alright, well that was an easy fight, and surprise! That's right, this boss is a second phase. And how difficult is this new phase? Dead. Grab the artifact, and now I got a new bird friend. Now that fight is over, I can finally upgrade my armor to its final tier, giving me a total of 250 energy. What is a top tier set? Or a top tier weapon? My good viewers, I give our last bow for the challenge, and that is the Age Assault bow with a juicy damage of 28.4. This bow is not only do the highest damage, but it's also the most unique bow we got. Instead of firing a kind of arc, this bow shoots straight ahead, and as a bonus, if we perfect shoot, then the arrows become bouncy and a chance to hit again. Now that I have maxed out gear, my next race to terrorize are the Apex, aka the monkey people. So I start scanning, and then I made a new crewmate, and her name is fucking Propane, and also I upgraded my ship for more space. After exploring some monkey madness and playing around with whatever the hell this thing is, I go talk to Esther to get the next mission for the Apex dungeon. Landing in, we are in a war zone. Okay, different from the others, but whatever. Here I find Lana Blake, and she wants to overthrow the Apex government, and I humbly agree. Oh yeah, I brought Zakim with me because I wanted to test out crewmate's bow aim, and you know what? During a third of the mission, we were hitting shots left and right, and that was until I gave him my Aegis bow, and his code just kind of messed up, and I left him behind. Uh-oh. Alright, so next thing this dungeon offers is a gauntlet. Why did my recording stop? Oh yeah, I had to go to my niece's birthday party. I couldn't just quit the game, because if I did, I would have to redo that whole part all over again. So I just left my computer running for like 5 hours. After that birthday party, the next challenge is to survive a small gauntlet, and you know what? I think this gauntlet is a good way of showing how good my aim has improved in this challenge. And I want you all to watch as well. So, after that sick battle, it's time to go upstairs and face off against the Big Ape himself. Big Ape. Sure, I guess, why not? Stupid name aside, this fight actually taught me an important factor in this challenge, and that is patience. See, Big Ape isn't real. He's actually the 4 projectors floating around him spinning. So with all the attacks that he spits out, I gotta wait just a little bit, and soon the ape will fall. Back to the Ark to get my final scavenger quest, and of course, it's for the glitch, the medieval robots. Before I depart, I get my last crew member, Lyra, who I brought, and Zakim to the mission after I finished scanning all the glitch stuff I needed. Now, going into this dungeon, you may notice something. It's very quiet and peaceful. Before things get into complete chaos, I walk into a castle and meet up with the Baron. I ask him if I can have his artifact, and of course, he says no. But then Astra's cultists soon arrive, and now it's time for battle. So yeah, there is no dungeon. This mission instead, we have to fight waves of cultists, and these guys came prepared as well. They got flying machines and catapults, like Jesus. But the joke's on them because I brought even more backup. Later on in the fight, Nuru and Lana drop in. I was gonna say for the fun, but that's mainly what Nuru's doing. Lana just wanted to help, I guess. So, after committing a genocide, I talk back to the Baron to see how he's holding up.
My god, such a good show. I'm glad to have witnessed all of that. Such a play deserves a prize, I say.
Oh shoot, for real?
Yes, I would love to give you my prized possession. This artifact has been in my family for generations. What the fuck is that?
Die, bitch!
Astra ain't done yet, and she decides to send in her bone dragon, which I guess she had in a back closet or something? I don't know. Anyway, the fight itself is very easy because Bone Dragon has only one attack. I am not joking, he only has one attack. Difficulty comes from the amount of cultists that just keep spawning in, and also how much fire he makes and how much your computer can handle it. But hey, after defeating it, thankfully, they all go away. Or not thankfully, because the damage they've done to my ears. So, after that negotiation, we finally have the glitch artifact. And with one artifact left, we're just missing the human one, but no need to fret it because Esther had it the whole time. Inserting the final artifact opens the portal door to the ruin, and when the door opens, it's time to end this. But before I do, I want to look my best. And now, I gotta say, I got killed the look. The time has finally come. After 4 days of this stupid challenge, it will all come to an end when I defeat that stupid one-eyed bastard. And so, I jump on in and find the ruin. I just need to make sure I get to the center of the planet, and soon I find the boss door. As I take a deep breath, I prepare myself, get ready to fight the ruin. Astra Nox! The ruin is the final boss of Starbound, and my god, this fight took forever. Pretty much everything from the past came back to haunt me in this one fight. Small little minions that swarm me and deal high damage. Patience that needs me to hit my targets, and just for the hell of it, a mega death laser that covers the entire middle area of the arena. But, although this has all been stuff I've struggled with at the start, I've changed. I've improved. This whole challenge has made me learn a whole new light of fighting in Starbound. You don't need fancy laser pistols, magic staffs, rainbow swords, or even a flamethrower. Sometimes, even the simplest weapons of man can take down a god.
Yes! This. Really?
And so, after so long, I beat Starbound with only a bow. I'm gonna be real, this challenge sucked, but you know what? It made me see Starbound in a different light than I usually do. Using the strongest weapons to steamroll through it all, and I say the challenge did the one thing it made me want to do, and that's appreciate Starbound even more. A game I've always had since its early stages, and playing it again after abandoning it for so long, it reignited something in me. Maybe another challenge run, or another day. But as for now, I thank you for watching all of this one. Special shout out to my friends who voiced Astra and Baron in the video. They're very cool. I also like to thank my mom and my brother for supporting me and giving me some sort of motivation for this video. And thanks to my art friends that made the art for the channel. Links to their Twitters will be in the description. Anyway, I think I've blabbered on long enough. With that, I must depart now. So I hope you like, comment, and subscribe. Bye-bye!